Hello everyone, welcome to Pitchside. Thank you so much for definitely checking out our content and giving us feedback about everything that we do. If you're out there and you're joining us on Pitchside today and it's your very first time, welcome. But also for you to catch up on all the big stories and all the big headlines in Ugandan football, you have to subscribe. Be part of the family. Simply hit the subscription button and we shall get going for us to have a very a fantastic time. As you can see, I'm on set today with one of the most reputable sports lawyers in Uganda. Yes, I have to give him his flowers. Mr. Harold Atukwatse, right here in his very expansive and beautiful office. So a pleasure to have Harold. Harold, as always, how are you, sir?
I'm very fine, and I'd like to extend my felicitations to our viewers.
Anyways, so today on Pitchside, I know many of you already have known about this story and you probably talked about it and you've seen it in every platform out there. That is the story about the FUFA document, of course, that has made rounds, and the talk around that document as regards to why FUFA is trying to push the narrative of the document. We're going to break down what's inside that document, and I also want to explain to you why we think it's either good or bad, and the mix therein, the Ministry of Education and Sports, FUFA, and NCS. So all of that is what this episode is about. And just to run you back a bit, on Wednesday 28th of January, while appearing before the Education Parliamentary Committee, the FUFA president, Engineer Moses Magogo, was presenting a document to the committee when the State Minister for Sports, Peter Ogwang, actually intercepted and requested that the document that Mr. Magogo was presented had not been served to them. They had not seen a copy of it. So there was a back and forth there, and, both parties were told to step out for maybe 10 minutes and agree on one or two things and come back. Anyways, we move on past that scenario and get to the point where FUFA released a statement regarding that particular document. Now we get to understand that that document contains details that include FUFA asking for up to 279 billion over 4 years to grow the game in Uganda. Some of the things that are in that document, and I'll just be specific to read them here, include 1.5 billion Ugandan shillings for naturalization of players with Ugandan descent, 86.3 billion for mass football, that includes other establishments of the National Academy, organization of the youth competition. You also have 7.5 billion for a National Academy. You also have 8 billion for V.A.R, and 15 billion for FUFA TV. So this among other requests that the Federation had put in that document. As the National Council of Sports was defending their sports budget framework to the Ministry of Education and Sports. Meanwhile, the National Council of Sports budget is 1.5 trillion Ugandan shillings. Harold, I know I've thrown around lots of figures and spoken a lot of back and forth with what happened between the three parties. Yeah, but for starters, how do you get to know that there's a document that is causing chaos? And have you read through it? What's your overall opinion?
One, I haven't seen the document, I'll confess, but I've seen a summary of it that FUFA put out after hell broke loose.
Yeah.
And yes, I think I first picked snippets of the document of the FUFA website, because they put out a statement signed by management. That's the first document I've seen that's
signed by management.
Document that's signed by management. And doesn't have a FUFA logo or anything. So I was a bit skeptical reading it, but given that it was on the website, I took it as the literal truth of part of what could have been in the bigger document, because I presume the bigger document must have had more detail and more explanations and things of the sort.
So let's start from here. FUFA is asking for 297 billion over 4 years to do a couple of things for Ugandan football. And if I can go back to what Engineer Moses Magogo said in one of the interviews, he highlighted that if they had not presented this to the committee, it will take another financial year. Yet, the country...
Things have to be done.
Yes, things have to be done, and the AFCON and all of that.
Yeah.
What's your overall view of the agenda that FUFA is pushing with this money and the breakdown that they've had that we've talked about?
My overall view is that, one, we're lucky to have an MP as well positioned as the engineer.
In every sense of the word.
In every sense of the word, as the FUFA president. We would never have football on the floor of Parliament for any reason. For example, when we had, I think we had Bakawulindi in Parliament, nobody mentioned anything about Ugandan football or any sport for that matter. You'd have snippets of Kiprotich, Nzikuru,
Cranes beating Ghana wherever.
Yeah, Cranes beating Ghana. Yeah. And netball, and they give them a mini van for a national team and things of that sort.
And appear in plenary.
Yeah, but you have to give the FUFA president, Engineer Honorable Moses Magogo, his flowers for taking football to, 1, Parliament, 2, State House. It's been the shortest road that, and I think you saw even the president of the Uganda Rugby Union come out and saying, man, we're not all in a position to do what you're doing, but don't think we're not doing anything. They're doing a lot, but they can't get there.
Yeah, they can't.
So I give him flowers for that, and for me, that's the biggest takeaway. They were seated in Parliament, and someone has come out and said, look, we need to budget for the development of football. So for starters, for me, that was a plus.
Yeah.
That was a plus. The manner in which he clashes with Honorable Peter Ogwang
and Dr. Bernard Ogwell at NCS.
Dr. Bernard Ogwell at NCS and the Ambrose Tashobias and the rest is, for me, it's unbecoming. It shouldn't happen. Yeah. It shouldn't happen. But I've gotten used to this. That you remember when we went for the opening day of Chan, and there were no drinks, there's no water. There's no food at the stadium. Like, the hospitality on the day was in the bits. FUFA, who have a lot of technical experience and ability to organize an event like that, would not have skipped such a thing. Yeah. But because NCS and the local organizing committee was in charge, we saw that that lapse in organization come out. So we've for those who are in sport, we've sort of like known that there is a bit of a rift between these two organizations. And unfortunately, the game and our reputation as Uganda always suffers a bit, but we've always known that rift is there. It shouldn't be there, because Honorable Peter Ogwang, I think his first sport of choice is football. He brags about playing football every morning at the Omondi Stadium, so he loves the game. Honorable Bernard Ogwell, not Honorable Bernard Ogwell, has owned a football club before. He's a football man. I think he's a former player too. Yeah. So he loves the game. I think there should be a way that all of these organizations can be harmonized and they work together. You get a sense that Engineer Honorable Magogo hijacked the moment. Like you said, if you don't present it now, you have to wait for a year for you to present it again. So I was like, you know what? Come what may, let me drop this spanner in the works.
Yeah, so let's get to the details of this whole document. And before we do, I want to give you context. That on 10th of September 2025, the Parliament of Uganda made a resolution through the Ministry of Education and Sports, after paying tribute to the Cranes and their performance at Chan, that football in Uganda should be funded from the consolidated fund and the budget framework paper. So that explains why FUFA sat down and broke down this document and brought it to the floor to the Committee of Education and Sports. Yes. So they were within their right because of what the minister had done on the floor of Parliament.
Yes.
Now, the discussion here is the amount of money. So, Harold, in the document, there is a budget of so many things.
Yes.
Let's start with 86.3 billion shillings for mass football. That includes, among others, establishment of a national academy and organization of youth competitions. What do you make of that?
For me, it's a bit contradictory because FUFA put out a statement maybe a month ago, calling upon academies to register. And there were stringent measures. One of them is for, I think, academies to pay, I think, Uganda shillings 2 million to register.
There's a fee to it.
To run an academy. Now, that's the money that UPL clubs pay to participate in the UPL every season. And you're levying the same on the academies that you want to promote.
Yeah.
So on one hand, you're sort of like forbidding or prohibiting so many academies to come up. On the other hand, you're telling Parliament that you want to fund these academies to come up. And I saw there's something about the National Academy.
Yeah.
For me, and that's where you see this ministry, is the Ministry of Education and Sports.
Yeah.
That most African countries, and Uganda in particular, our football is school-based, from primary school to secondary school to, I think the universities are not so much into football, but primary and secondary schools, and that's between age 6 and 18 or 20 for if you're to follow the USSA regulations.
Yeah.
These are entities that should be prioritized, that should be funded. FUFA should come out and say, look, we have put out a program for us to have schools of excellence, schools where we go and say, these guys are training the best footballers in the country. But if this doesn't happen, or if it happens, it will happen on a small scale, because you can't have 1,000 schools of excellence.
No.
Yet we have over 30 million people under the age of 20 who are in the football market, waiting to be recruited. So focus and look. Say Coca-Cola. Okay, not Coca-Cola, USSA.
Yeah.
How many schools do you deal with? Can we now regulate what kinds of coaches you can have? Can we have an under 10, an under 14, an under 15, an under 17? Can we kick out the age cheats? Because I know that USSA already gets, I think, 8 billion.
Even more.
Yeah, to run their competitions on an annual basis. And what do? Go to a school,
organize the competition, and then share the results.
And share the results and lay back. But now, if we know that these schools are part and parcel of the fabric of our football, then we need to really get down and say, we are going to support schools in such and such a way. USSA, Ministry of Education, let's have coaches. You have, one of our mutual friends, Brian Omoni, is in charge of scouting and development.
Yeah.
Have Omoni go around all of these schools, picking out those people. But the whole notion of we are going to run a Clairefontaine of sorts is, at this stage for me,
far-fetched.
It's far-fetched. It's a mirage.
Okay, so basically, identify schools that you feel have football background and can prioritize football.
Yes.
And then use part of this money to make sure that they align with the national schools or national schools program.
Yes, so there is that bit of identify, but also in the new curriculum, the ones put out by the Ministry of Education and Sports, there's time for sports, a lot of time. So you have to have people take it a little bit more serious. Instead of a PE teacher, let's have a proper coach.
And then for the part of constructing or setting up a national academy, how about that? Because I don't think we have one. So when you go to South Africa, there's a school of excellence.
Yes.
When you go to Senegal, I'm sure there's a national, the one that identifies with the entire country.
Yeah. But Peter, there is nothing that this country runs very well. Nothing. There is no department where you go and say, this is being run very well.
The Department of Partying, I'm sure, for instance.
Well, we are the people doing it. It's not the country. It's not the government. So for me, instead of picking that money and saying, okay, we're going to buy land at Njeru and expand it and have kids from Karamoja, Arua, Kigezi region come to Kampala for 2-3 weeks, I think it's best you take coaches to them. So when the FUFA Juniors League started, FUFA, I think, used to pay coaches $100, I think, and give teams kit also. Go out and say, look, for all the schools that we're in, the the USSA tournaments for the last 5 years, you must have this kind of coach. You must have a CAFC coach, a coach with expertise in training the youth. And then when you have picked maybe 120 kids or so from that lot, those are the kids you now take to Njero.
Okay. So away from the national academy and the national setup, let's move to another point of contention, which is the naturalization of players. In that document, FUFA is asking for 1.5 billion Ugandan shillings to naturalize players of Ugandan descent. If you're watching, to give you context, there are players who are across the world and they are born or have Ugandan roots, but the federation has not reached out to them. This has received a lot of mixed reactions. What's your take on the naturalization?
Peter, first maybe we need to tell the viewers what naturalization is.
Yes.
What naturalization is, and especially in football terms, you have a player who has links to Uganda.
Yeah.
And under FIFA rules and regulations, the links extend even to a grandparent. If one of your grandparents was in Uganda, then you have a link to Uganda and you can be given a passport, Ugandan passport to represent Uganda in sports. Now, the other thing is to look at our local laws here as Uganda. What do the laws say? So if there's a whole criteria that you have to follow before you're naturalized, but one of them is that you'll contribute to Uganda in a socio-economic way.
Yeah.
And these are some of the people who are looked at as people who will help Uganda in a socio-economic way. So when you step out there to players who have a link to Uganda, and you want them to come and represent the country, it's not as easy as Peter, Jango. No, these people don't even know. Some of them have never been here, or they've been here and they don't like it, and the biggest headline they know about Uganda is Idi Amin, and when they Google, they don't see any footballer. Maybe they'll see King David. I don't think Majid Musisi's journey is documented. So they
were not born then.
Yeah. So we're not the most attractive lot as a country. And you mentioned Divine Mukasa. Divine Mukasa plays for Manchester City. He's represented England at all the underage categories. For this conversation's sake, let's imagine Divine and £30,000 per week, meaning he takes home 15k per week. That's a good £60,000 per week.
Yeah.
You want to sit down Divine and say, look, don't play for England, where you're going to play with Hurricane, with all sorts of people. You come and play for Uganda. Kudiruchi.
What's the catch there?
What's the catch? So when you see FUFA asking for 1.5 billion, in my view, that's very little money, because that's around 450,000 US dollars. I've just told you that Divine earns 60,000 in a week. So what are you going to give him to convince him to come and
someone may ask, what's all that money for? Do you have to pay these players? Do you have to give them a sign-on fee?
Yeah, FUFA will tell you that it's classified expenditure, but I don't have to. It's their duty to sugarcoat it. I will not sugarcoat it for you. Yeah. You approach this player, he's going to tell you, okay, yes, I'll come and play for Uganda, but I want to be paid a sign-on fee of maybe 10, 20,000, 40,000.
Depending on the value.
Yeah, and these people come with their parents. Like, man, I was in Uganda, we were tear gassed when we were in the struggle, blah, blah, blah. I came here for asylum. Now the country needs my son. Give us $50,000
for my son.
For my sign-on fee for my son. So that's what the money is for. So for me, as far as justifying the 1.5 billion, I think it's very little. It's very little.
It should be more. What are the chances that top players are going to be able to be convinced to come and play for Uganda in that context?
The chances are high. One, we're hosting the AFCON. So we will be there. All eyes, all football eyes, all eyeballs in the world will be on the AFCON in 2027 in East Africa. There is a very big chance. You saw Uche.
Yeah.
Mubiru.
Yes.
Ikpaezo got a deal out of AFCON.
Is that Ross County?
At Ross County, yeah.
Rogers Mato.
Yeah. Same thing. So it's a very good platform for the players. But no one is willing to play for free. This is a job.
So people have to be paid.
People have to be paid, and the money is... In Uganda, here we look at 1.5 billion as a lot, but it's $500,000 the other side.
Easily money spent on...
Easily. It's more salary for
1 week. Yeah. And they move on. Yeah. Anyway, so let's move on to other contentious issues in this document.
Maybe, Peter, before we move on, is it the right thing to do to naturalize these players?
Is it?
So, I want to paint a picture. And with all due respect to the names I'm going to mention in this, I cannot give the example without the names. Yeah. But Al Hassan Baba comes in. Yeah. And he's only trained with the team for maybe less than 10, 15 sessions. And we don't get much out of Al Hassan Baba at the tournament. Uche has come in for we've chased Uche for a very long time. He's come in. And maybe he goes to AFCON at the expense of Ivan Ahimbisiwe.
Al Hassan went at the expense of Joel Serunjoji.
At the expense of Joel Serunjoji. Yeah. Now, it's just that you bring in Melvin Lorenzen. Same story. We don't get much out of these people. Elio Capradosi and Jordan Obita have done well at the back. You commend them, and Sibik when he's coming, you'll give them their flowers. Yeah. But then we had the opportunity at this AFCON to test Joel Serunjoji against the best, because we cannot go into this AFCON without putting our eyes on the AFCON we're going to host. So you don't go into this saying, "Oh, we have to win all the games. We have to." No. If you're thinking through this, if you're preparing for the next AFCON, drop in a Joel Serunjoji. Drop in an Ivan Ahimbisiwe. Give them the chance to test themselves again.
Karim Watambala.
Yes, Abdul Karim Watambala. Throw them in there. Usama Arafat. Throw them in there and see what they can do. Give them that experience over the years. You've done well by exposing them to a very good coaching team, a technical team. So then now give them the chance to play at the highest level. So
how do we strike that balance, Harold? Money is being requested to naturalize Harold Atukwatse, but there's also local talent that has to be given opportunity.
For me, and this is where I fault FUFA. Yeah. FUFA's biggest problem is the failure to prepare. It's the failure to prepare well. Like I just said, you're targeting 2027. Yeah. But you are not looking at these boys. So for me, where do we strike the balance? We need to highlight the local talent and do a comparative advantage. Oh. And say, okay, Al Hassan Baba and Joel Serunjoji and Abdul Karim and Sebagala and whoever is in that frame, or the Ryan Figo boy at police.
Seremba now.
The Serembas, the Issa Bugembes who've been at the Under-20 World Cup, AFCON. How do we strike that balance? These are guys who you have 365 days. The other ones are players you have over a few days. Yeah. Over a few days. I mean, as disappointed that you bring in Uche for the World Cup qualifiers and he can't start a game against Somalia or Mozambique. Yeah. And these are people you're asking the taxpayers to give money to.
Yeah, so maybe the people also that the federation goes out to look for really need to be worth.
Yeah, I understand if
the money spent on them.
If you're a Ghana and you go out and say Edin Ketia is an upgrade on Ivan Ahimbisiwe, I understand.
Yeah, in that context, you understand.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the national team and the academies and all. Let's come back home a bit, still on that document. the federation is or has asked for 8 billion for V.A.R. But according to Moses Magogo, you need more money to actually have the entire V.A.R set up. So they are trying to do a mini V.A.R. In his explanation, he says that if this equipment is bought, they can sit and select which game they think is going to have controversy in it. And that's where they'll put the V.A.R. But, I mean, people are saying, is V.A.R really, really priority right now for Uganda football? Does it make sense for you?
Before you go there, before you go to the whether it makes sense or not,
yes,
the integrity of the game demands that if you use V.A.R at one venue, you must use it at all. That is why you see.
You cannot anticipate that Bright Stars and URA will be more controversial than KCC.
But you also have to give a fairer competitive advantage to all of the teams. That we all have V.A.R. I cannot be complaining on Monday that Bright Stars was cheated, and then the Vipers guys are singing hallelujah to Chitende. So it has to be this. All of the venues have to have V.A.R. Every game played has to have V.A.R. The example I'll give you is the FA Cup. Because you cannot have V.A.R. at the grounds of Ross County. I give Ross County as an example because it's what I know now. You can't have V.A.R. at Wycombe or all the smaller venues.
Tranmere.
So when Manchester United plays Arsenal at the Emirates, there will be no V.A.R. despite it being installed and at the venue. Everybody has to have it.
That's the context you bring.
So if you have the portable van, there have to be 8 vans on any given match day. For every venue, every referee, to every team to have the opportunity, the same opportunity as the other teams. That's the first thing. The second thing, of all the things that the good FUFA president has presented in this, the money you want to spend on V.A.R, go out and say, look, V.A.R is number 10 on the list of priorities. Number 1 is venue. Number 2 is medical insurance and all of those things. Number 3 is paying referees. They've not been paid
they're not earning as much.
They're not earning as much, but also their remuneration delays. Player welfare. There's so many things that we should prioritize. So for me, there is no justification whatsoever for V.A.R. Yes, we have very incompetent referees. We have very biased referees, but we're not at that level where
of having V.A.R. Okay, so V.A.R, under the drain you go. 15 billion for FUFA TV is there that has caused a lot of uproar. Your take on 15 billion for FUFA TV?
Peter, in the world of broadcast, 15, and you've seen these things when you've gone for the Kariako Derby in Tanzania or the other derbies across the
even
continent,
at the AFCON.
South Africa, even at the AFCON. 15 billion is very little money.
It's a drop in the ocean.
It's a drop in the ocean for broadcast of live sports. But that's not the issue. If I speak from a growth of the game perspective, is if you are to fund a broadcaster in this country, should it be FUFA TV? I know FUFA will tell you that we're fending for ourselves. But if you don't say you're fending for just you when you represent the game, the nationwide game, from Moroto to Arua to Kigezi to Mbale to wherever, no. So do we have a broadcaster in this country that covers every inch of the country? We do. We have a national broadcaster. So if you're sitting in parliament, for me, you should advocate for a UBC sport, a 24-hour channel that covers Ugandan sports, be it athletics, be it volleyball, be it basketball, be whatever it is.
As a matter of fact, Rwanda, the Rwanda Premier League has been broadcast always on RB TV, the Rwanda Broadcasting TV. So the UBC of Rwanda has been the one that has been.
So go and you're in parliament, and this is an easier avenue because UBC TV is a government product. So go in, get there, UBC Sport started, 24-hour channel for Ugandan sport. UBC has the best infrastructure in this country.
Because it reaches
everywhere, from cameras to masts to broadcasting. You might have your doubts when it comes to the experience of the staff and all of that.
And the execution.
And the execution. But those can be, that's the smallest fix. HR is the smallest fix. The guys who do the Kariako derbies and the Tanzanian league are Ugandans.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, yes, I love FUFA TV, and they've done a tremendous job in covering very many aspects of sport. But I feel like if we're going to grow the game, if you're going to make sure that the kid in Moroto does not only hear Alan Okello's name on radio and sees it on TV, that's UBC Sport, would be a very
good option.
Yeah.
Let's move to the league. This has also been very, very contentious. And the president in this document sort of explained that the plan to do away with institutional clubs was in the pipeline. What would be the approach of the clubs? And also the league has not been talked about, by the way, in this document.
I was going to go there.
Yeah.
But I thought it would be the capping.
It's definitely going to be the capping.
Peter, the last time I was on this show,
yes,
I told you that those are the most misplaced entities in Uganda's football structure. I know they're a very big part of our history, but so are so many other things. You get me?
Yeah.
We need to be progressive. The best way for this league to be run would be on a FUFA drum-like model. I'm not saying in terms of provinces and stuff, but maybe in terms of districts and regions. It's the best way to run this league. Why? You see, when Onduparaka comes up, they have the whole of West Nile behind them.
Yeah.
Even the Paida fans are now forced to say, we need our club to get in there. And Arua Hill also sprouts. I don't think Aita Joel would have invested in Arua Hill and done all the things he did
without being inspired by
Onduparaka, the Onduparaka story.
Yep.
We've seen Busoga come up, and us who travel in the big league week in, week out, when you go up country, you see the crowds. But it would have been different if URA was playing at Barakoro, the Paida grounds. I don't think they would have the same feel. But then again, Peter, these are football clubs that are owned by
institutions,
government institutions. By their nature, these institutions are not profit-making institutions. Now, what the president was proposing is that by nature, URA, Maroons, and all the others, if you look at their constitutional duties or their regulatory duties, none of them is to make profit. But out there, every football club is run for profit.
Otherwise, you won't survive.
You cannot. The game will not grow. Yeah. That's one facet. That the objectives of the government and these entities are different from the objectives of a football club, a model football club.
Yep.
In that you all the three tenets, the business side, the administration, and the football. These entities are not
profit-making. Yes.
So the best idea is you get a URA. It's a URA, okay. You're based in, like when they were in Ndeje, you're based in Ndeje. The football club there should be called Ndeje FC.
Not URA FC.
Not URA FC. What does URA want to achieve by running a football club? Maybe they want to publicize their e-receipt, taxpayer education, corporate social responsibility, and the likes.
Okay, yeah? So you think if Maroons decided to become
Luzira
FC, that would still have fans come to support Luzira FC and not the Maroons that have known over 30 years?
Yes, and it would even be more endearing because Maroons doesn't go away. The players remain, the coaches remain. It's just now that it's a community-based club. Maybe Maroons can even be a shareholder in the club. We have a law that allows public-private partnerships. They can be a 51 or a 49% shareholder for purposes of fulfilling the objectives they run the football club for, which are non-profit, non-football reasons.
Yes.
So for those reasons, they can be a 49% holder, and the community will own.
So what the president is suggesting is a viable option.
It's a viable option. The one point I disagree with him is that you have to phase it.
You can't.
You have to
implement it immediately.
A UPDF and say, okay, you're going to be Bombo FC, and this is how we're going to do it. Or you'd have to come to the big league or to the regional league and pick a water FC.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of imbalance and a lot of alignment.
Yes.
And the question is that is where everyone is asking, how achievable is that? Yes. How are you going to go?
For me, it's achievable, Peter. It's achievable. I tell you why it's achievable. If you sat the executive director of KCC here and the mayor and ask them why they run a football club, what do they say? I
don't think they'll give you more than...
Will they give you football reasons or social reasons?
Social reasons.
But do we need social reasons in the league? Because KCCA is potentially the biggest club in the country.
Yeah.
In terms of sporting and non-sporting achievements. Potentially the biggest club. But there are few things that hold it back. So it needs recharacterization. And the biggest word there should be recharacterization.
Of the whole system.
Not abolish or ban or anything. Recharacterize these things.
In slowly by slowly.
Yes.
And then for the clubs, we've been talking about the importance of clubs getting grants or being financially supported, especially the traditional clubs. That has not appeared anywhere in this document. But then again, we still have a problem of clubs struggling to pay players, even the traditional clubs.
Peter.
How are we going to get past this, Harold, now?
Peter, if they put you on the floor of parliament with the best strategists and lobbyists in this country, you find it very hard to convince the government to pick money and give it to SC Villa or Express FC. You know why? The government doesn't work like that. Sometimes we sit back, because of the Ugandan culture, we sit back and think, oh, President Museveni can give you Luseke, like your friend Kasuku says. You can beat the President Luseke and he gives you money. Express never mochinya. But it's very hard to justify.
So you're saying that grants won't help the clubs to immediately
because they can't give you grants every year.
So it can't be a timeline that for the first 2 seasons, let's give them grants and see how they survive.
Peter, let me tell you. Yeah. If you give Express Football Club 500 million this year, they will spend it all on operations. They will not even buy a door for a dressing room or anything. It's not enough. 500 million is not enough. And someone had proposed this, I think it was Mr. Agre Ashawa, that you get money, give 200 million to each club and its infrastructure development. Unless we're going to say that every year, Villa should go and get 500 million from the consolidated fund.
All right, as we conclude on this show, we definitely need to address the fact that amidst all these things that we've talked about, the AFCON 2027 is not in the picture.
Yeah.
The document that FUFA has been trying to push to government, even FUFA themselves say it, the AFCON 2027 is not in the picture.
Yeah.
In all fairness, Harold,
yeah.
What is in your mind ahead of AFCON 2027 off the pitch? Just how do you think East Africa can welcome the world, the continent, for this tournament?
Yeah, there's a footballer, I forget, a North African footballer who spoke out recently and said that will be the true African AFCON, the 2027 one, not the Morocco one. He said this was European AFCON.
Yeah.
The other one will be the true...
I think it was Israel Slimani.
Yes.
I don't know why I confused.
The bald guy.
Yeah.
Peter, it's a mess. It's a mess. But in all of that, we must note that East Africa is doing very well. Very many stadia are ahead of schedule. Very many are ahead of schedule.
Which is a good sign.
Which is a good sign. We've had AFCON moved. We've had CAF threaten to move AFCON from Cameroon. Cameroon, which we think is...
top, really.
Yeah. So we are doing well. I think all the stadia will be ready in the 3 East African countries. Now, outside the stadia, we have problems. If we have a group that has Egypt, Nigeria, Uganda, and maybe who? And Comoros?
Yeah.
Let's say, or even the same group that we had at AFCON this year, Tanzania, is in Hoima. And we don't have a Mulago grade hospital in Hoima.
Yeah.
We do not have, I don't know the state of the airport. I don't know if it's being used, if it's functional.
Yeah.
We have 1 training ground.
Yeah.
Where we should have 2, because there'll be 2 teams there. We have 1 training ground there. We do not have enough hotels. Now, the distance would not be a problem if we had a train, or if we had commercial flights, cheap commercial flights there. So people will have to use the Hoima.
The Hoima Road.
The Hoima Road to Hoima.
Yeah.
It's a good 4 hours to 4 hours back. Such an inconvenience for 3 games. Remember, you don't only have the football teams. You have scouts. You have the media teams. You have CAF officials. You have fans, family, all pouring into a town that has maybe 5 to 10 hotels.
Yeah.
It's going to be a strain on our resources as a country.
It's been a very good insight on the FUFA document. And we're stating facts here. We have broken down the genesis of this whole thing from Parliament up to where it is now. The big question is if Parliament and government is going to be willing to spend 297 billion over 4 years for the Federation. Harold, it's been a very, very good chat with you. Very good breakdown of this. Maybe your parting shots on this whole discussion, especially the FUFA document that has caused an uproar in Kampala.
2 things.
Yeah. 1,
FUFA needs to do better with their comms.
Yeah.
Get out of the firefighting mode and sort of like prepare the nation for such a thing. Yeah.
And also, I think take time to explain. Like,
yes.
Let it not be like you're waiting for someone to first attack you, then you come out to attack back.
If you're going to present such a document, start cooking early, 6 months too. Whatever you're running right now should have run back then.
Guys, it's been a pleasure. Please don't forget to subscribe, Pitchside with Tabo Peter, to get more of this exclusive content. And may I say, everyone out there that needs people to defend them in court, to have top lawyers, win millions and millions of dollar contracts. Guys, Adalci Advocates.
We're not going to pay you for that.
Yeah, no. It's your one-stop center, guys. So, yeah, keep it Pitchside as always, and cheers.